think it's super loud for the show.
Oh.
It's super loud regularly, but we are.
Oh, you should have said something because I can turn that down separately. I figured you would have mentioned it.
It doesn't bother me normally, but show side it might be a bit much.
Yeah. Oh, just on my mic.
All right, we are live and on the air on Twitch and YouTube. So, welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. We are here mainly to provide support and answer any questions about our products and services. If you have any of those, feel free to jump over to foolishtechshow.com or foolishit.com. We have a couple ways to join our IRC chat. And past that, you can also help us in just directing the conversation if we don't have anything like that. So,
am I still super loud?
Your mic's kind of heavy, but it's not bad. It's just on your boom mic we get like the sounds of everything that happened.
Right. I can adjust that independently.
But otherwise, looks like Jay Chamberlain's in our chat and showing that Hitman Pro found Trojans in D7.2. And yeah, if you had run
Hitman Pro runs, you know, you do.
Well, he's saying that it ViperScan, when he ran that, it might have quarantined it to there, but I thought ViperScan quarantined to the C drive.
The Hitman Pro profile, the current one, is supposed to whitelist the directory that D7.2 is running in, if you're running it from D7.2.
Are you using the default app for that? Because yeah, that one is a customized version for us, so that it whitelists.
Yeah, we have the custom default.
Because that one should be whitelisting the D7.2 stuff automatically.
There's a couple apps that do that. JRT does it, I believe, and
there are a few, because they like to be oversensitive on what they.
And it's really just necessary. We worked with Hitman Pro, and for a while I had an affiliate thing going on with them, and they did. They gave me a customized version of Hitman Pro with the. I think of Hitman Pro. Yeah, the customized version with the I had our banner on their app.
Yep.
But we quit doing that because they weren't keeping that updated, and so then we went this other route. And it's important for us to use the custom app that is concluded with D7.2 because the with the binary changing every once in a while or other things changing in the D7.2 directory, then we would have to keep up with them to keep things whitelisted internally from them, and that apparently is a big hassle for everyone.
That's strange that it blocked the download due to a Trojan. Sonic Firewall's antivirus I've never been fond of, though. That and FortiGate. Most of the antivirus on firewalls are kind of flaky, in my opinion. Like I end up having to whitelist more than it blocks anything legitimate. So
SonicWall's blocked cloud access to our servers for a while. There's a certain configuration from several different models of SonicWall that blocks passive FTP. Essentially, is what I was using. What was blocking.
The one I had the most experience with has been Untangle's free antivirus thing, and I would constantly have to whitelist stuff in that. Like it blocks Java updates, it blocks certain Windows updates, it blocks just random things that I'm downloading that are not virus-like at all, and I'm just like, why is it blocking that? Like, there should be no reason to block a Java update, especially. Like that would keep me away from more viruses, I feel.
If do we have a? I was just wondering if anyone's concerned if their D7 copy has been compromised, I can get anyone the hash of it, what it should be for the most recent version, but it is obviously going to be version specific. So you're gonna have to, if you're on a different version, hash is not going to match.
Well, they can all use Quick Hash to download the latest one. And
yeah, but they don't know what to compare it to for reference, and I'm not sure.
Well, if they download the latest one, that would be the one they compare it to.
Oh yeah. I mean, they could do it themselves. Yeah, sure.
Delreg.exe, startupkill.exe, and myunlist.exe, Hitman Pro is saying are Trojans.
I have no idea what that third one is.
But that would mean that he's not running the Foolish IT one.
Yeah.
So.
What's the name of your profile? Did you create it yourself, or?
My uninstaller is what the myunst.exe is.
What's that? Well, but is it your own custom app? Did you create that, or is it default?
My uninstaller is a Nearsoft app, alternative to the standard add remove control panel module.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Hitman Pro, we have a default app that uses our customized version of Hitman Pro. And let's see if I can launch it here and share it successfully.
Yeah.
Where are we? Here we are. I was going to go through and make a VM that had this stuff set up correctly, because my last year's Spice World one does not work anymore. But let's see if we can do it this way. All right, let's see. I think this screen may be the best resolution, so let's try it. Well, just to double check and make sure here, but we may end up having to look into that one if that's the case. So here is my D7 II. Proctor, I'm about to screen share if you're ready for that.
Yes.
All right, so we should be able to see my screen there. And yep, showing up on the screen. So just to make sure, if you go into config and then custom apps, default apps, and my system is running horribly slow because I was playing around with virtual audio cables and it did not like it. So Apologize for that. And we'll just type in Hitman here. And when we edit that one, we should see under download, it should be pulling it from this foolish IT directory. Now, it's possible that maybe it's falling back to the HTTP only path, which that would be the one that's not a customized version. Trying to see if I can figure out which one it's getting here. So you can see it has two options for the download path. The first one is our custom version, which is the URL FTP one, but then it has a HTTP path only. That's the backup one. And I just downloaded it, so let's see if we can run it and see what happens here. So it should come up with our branded version.
I didn't know it still did that. I was thinking we removed that for some reason. Let's see. Brantley, you're using an older profile. I think I'm pretty sure we removed that, didn't you?
Remove the second download?
Mine does not have the custom foolish IT download.
Yeah. I think we switched from using that away. Brantley, you're old.
It may be, like I said, I'm going through and updated stuff. Yeah, I am on default apps 18 when we're on 55.
Yeah. It probably won't do yours right, for sure. No, we still have the Foolish IT branded version there, but it's an alternate path right now. You should also have on the pre-execution tab in the custom app config an hmp.cmd, which should exist in the d72 config / custom apps _ d72 / third party configs folder. And that should be copied to the actual third party tools folder before running the app, which would then create a file called hmp_excludes.txt. And then that file, after it's created on the fly, would be passed on to the executable for Hitman Pro with the right command line parameters, so that is treated as a whitelist of paths.
Let's see what we got now.
It also whitelist dsupport suite and CryptoPrevent.
All right, so it is downloading the regular version and then falling back to our version. And execution should be that. Is that correct? Or the batch file creates it first?
The batch file creates the HMP exclude. So if you run it, it should have HMP excludes.txt in the third party tools folder.
I don't know if I want to run this right now, if it's going to. Let's do manual.
In the VM?
No, I'm on my system. I said I didn't set up the VM, so I'm not going to play around with that too much, but it should be whitelisting it, is the point there. Do you have that whitelist file in your third-party tools? And see if you can check that. You can switch it back for now, Proctor. God, my system is going super slow. That was a terrible idea to try that. And does it have the D72 path excluded or in that list?
So hopefully it's the appropriate path. It's the right one.
I'm trying to get a VM set up so we can test it out alongside with you here.
I'm doing that right now, but yes, you please do.
All right, we're getting set up to check here. Chamberlain. Looks like mine is going to take 4 minutes to copy D72 over. So while we wait on that, I thought this was an interesting link here. Steam has been hacked and millions of game keys have been stolen. 3.3 million unique registered users.
Do they know the keys? To rectify that situation if they know the keys.
Unsure, but it looks like they went through a forum to get it.
That seemed like a massive breach. Do you know? Is it any idea how many? I mean, this is Steam's internal breach, right? This wasn't Steam accounts or credentials or anything like that.
No, I'm trying to read and see exactly what it was. They're kind of all over the place.
That's interesting because Steam's huge, you know. I mean,
so it looks like the Dota 2 forum breach is the same hacker, and the site also allows users to share redeemable game keys through its forum. And the main site has reached 3.3 million unique registered users. They used a known vulnerability in an old version of that forum software to get access. The data stolen includes full name, username, scrambled passwords, emails.
ooh. So if you were registered on their forums, you probably had your credentials compromised.
Yeah, the Dota 2 ones were there, but I'm not seeing the link to the Steam stuff. Yeah.
Is it just because Steam is offered through that you know they're
I'm guessing
relating
it's
it?
just because
because
Dota had a section where you could share game keys.
Okay, so that's how. So the crack of their site. Oh, I get it. So that forum on Dota was hacked, which then allowed them to use the Dota site on Steam to retrieve the keys using those credentials, and right, maybe
I have no idea what they did. So then that article is a terrible job at explaining it. Windows 10 auto log on. So there are two things about that. First, if you're using a regular user account, then auto login will be just the same. You won't have to enter a domain or anything like that. If you're using a Windows account, so a Microsoft account for your Windows 10 login, you will have to put the domain in as their @ symbol so after the @ symbol, you put that in as the domain. So I use a Hotmail address. What?
Never get that wrong.
What?
Using it in Windows 10, if you're doing auto log on in Windows 10, do not mess up the password.
Why? Why is that so?
Because it will change the password to make sure it's correct.
Not if you're using a Windows account.
Oh, if you're using a Windows account, that's okay.
Yeah.
If you're using a domain, a Microsoft account, don't mess that up.
But no, that's what I was saying. The Microsoft account. The Microsoft account, it shouldn't affect at all because you can't change that password.
Well, but if you set the auto log on to a password that's incorrect,
it should just fail logging in.
That's correct, and you'll be in a login loop.
That's very confusing. So first, let's lay out the specifics here.
Auto log on, it'll set up a login to log in with a bad password if you get the password wrong. So therefore, it will continue trying to log in with a bad password. You'll log in, you'll get a bad password message, it'll log you back out.
Yeah, but
it'll try to log in.
There's ways to correct that. You just have to alter the registry to fix that.
Yeah,
Not gonna
offline. I'm just saying, don't do that. Don't get it wrong on Windows 10 with a Microsoft account. That's all I'm saying.
But that's the same with domains.
Well, I mean, with the domain,
wait.
It should actually change the domain password, assuming the user has.
Way more complicated than it started off as. So
it should actually change the domain password as well. It can't do that with a Microsoft account.
Because you said it couldn't change the domain password previously.
I think it can.
It doesn't have domain admin rights.
If it don't, then it won't. If the user doesn't have rights to change his own password, then no.
It wouldn't change it on the domain, though.
It should.
All right. Well, we'll have to do a whole bunch more testing on this, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow, apparently.
Okay.
The main thing there is that the biggest thing I had found is that if you're using a local Windows account, then nothing to worry about. You just put their username and their password in, and it can change the password to whatever you set it to. If you're using a Microsoft account, you would do the username, their password, and then everything after the @ symbol. So don't put the @ symbol or @Microsoft. If it's like they're signing in with a Hotmail account, you'd put hotmail.com. If you're signing in with a Outlook Live account, outlooklive.com, or whatever the email address is, you split it up like that's a domain, because that's how domains are read. And it's like a domain account, but it's not really a domain account. It's really weird how they've set it up and done it, but it appears to work for them. So basically, yeah, you have the username as whatever is the first part of the email. Then the domain is whatever the last part of the email. You don't have the @ in there at all. And then password is the same. As far as I was aware, it shouldn't change passwords anyway. It definitely won't for your Microsoft account. For your local Windows accounts, it will, but domain accounts, I didn't believe it did, but we'll test that out and try it out.
It does the password change because it can't test the password, and if it sets the auto log on and it's a bad password, you're in a logon loop, and you have to hook the drive up offline or something. That's why it will set the password to overwrite what it actually is, just in case you get it wrong. But the problem is that can't be done for a Microsoft account or a domain without it. I guess maybe a domain at all, but it should be doing that for a domain. Although it can if it doesn't have rights.
I'll see if I can load up. I don't know if my 10 virtual machine is on a Microsoft account. I don't believe it is.
What's he saying it should look like with the semicolon? Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what I think you see what you're saying.
Yeah. All right, we'll wait for him to get back. I have mine set up, and we'll look at those things so that we can do it visually.
He's back. Didn't used to change the password, but when people started writing in because they were in a logon loop because they got the thing wrong, you know.
Yeah.
That was
All right, Proctor, I'm sharing my screen again. All right, looks like we can see it. Looks good. So when you set the auto login, you choose the account. You can put the password in if you want to keep it the same password. If it's not a domain account, then it shouldn't matter. It'll change it if it needs to. If not, then it won't. For a domain account, though, you would enter in the additional portion here. So if it's a domain, you would just enter the domain name. But if it's a Microsoft account, and we'll just use Hotmail as an example, that's what you would enter in as the domain name. So everything after that.
See all that extra space under it? If it's a Microsoft account, I think I have an error message there, or a message there, like a big warning message that says, hey, like what I've been talking about. Okay. If it detects that it's a Microsoft account, it should do that.
Or a domain account?
Not a domain account. I think it does. I don't know. I'll have to look again.
Okay. But that's how I found it to work.
My Hitman Pro has whitelisted properly. It didn't detect. It should have a bunch of files excluded in the log. Well, it doesn't say what they are, but it says there's a number of files excluded. In my case, 339.
Thermos, yes, the white label version should be up and running. There's a specific download for it, so make sure you get that one for you to create your new versions. Oh, I can't switch my screen because I'm screen sharing right now. But I'll get the link here in a minute once we finish our screen sharing here. Or see if I can get to it this way. Yeah, do it that way. So Thermos, use that link, and on the second download button, that's for the white label creator, and that will create any new installs that you want to use and test with and settings and things like that. And yeah, definitely check that one out and let me know how it's going. You can see we have a lot less have downloaded that because a lot less people have it. So test it out, see if you have any issues with it, and definitely let me know because I want to make sure that one's going. We've pretty much tested everything that we can possibly think of with that, so it should work as expected, but different situations can bring up different things, so more is always better there.
Yep.
So I'm just going to run the manual and see what we get here.
Using DSL, are we?
Mm-hmm. It's probably because I have a whole bunch of people around here downloading stuff because we don't have data caps. So really at this point too, we should be able to check the D72 folder. And our third-party tools. And we should have that here. So yeah, you can see it passes at the D72 folder that I'm running from. So same path here. It's just taking the D72 folder, so everything under there should be whitelisted. DSupport Suite, CryptoPrevent should both be whitelisted as well. And I'm running a scan right now. Oh, look at there, I got tracking cookies on this VM. Isn't that fun? So nothing showing up in there, and yeah, so it didn't find anything there.
Why had those backslashes in your whitelist file for the? Oh, because you're on a 32-bit, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, it just didn't have anything for that variable. I can update that just to kick them out. It actually shouldn't harm anything. Obviously, it didn't for you.
Yeah, and I had so it seems like it's not getting that whitelist flashed over for some reason for you.
Yeah, double check on that. The CMD file is in the proper place, and so is the thing. The excludes, the HMP excludes in third-party tools.
He said he did have that, so yeah, and I guess that's make sure that the thing is here too. So you should have these files for it: hmp.cmd and hmp_excludes.txt.
Yeah. You know what? Jay Chamberlain he had the other thing with the SFX Mini where D72 was moved and he was relaunching it on the same system and it wouldn't launch. Just wondering if Hitman Pro is detecting a different D72 directory, not the one it's actually running from.
That's possible
if
too.
He's got a copy of it somewhere else.
And also good to mention that if you go into main debugging, view modify session data, you can see the locations that your actual D72 is running from here. So make sure all of these paths are what you expect, and then the D72 folder is where you expect it to be in that excludes folder.
They probably are fine. Those three programs, they probably are fine. It's just they're probably located in a different location than you're actually running.
So you mean the registry like has those different locations in it? Is that
the registry won't have different locations. It'll have the current.
It'll have the same ones that are in the. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is if the files are in a different location as well, copies of the files, then Hitman Pro can most definitely detect them. And they probably are fine because our utilities and especially Nearsoft utilities, which you say the my uninst is, are almost always detected by antivirus type stuffs. There's a lot of our stuffs that are, especially Nearsoft.
Regularly gets detected by that.
Yeah, we have a big write-up on that, and so does Nearsofer.
I am off screen sharing, Proctor. Thermos, let me know when you can hear us. I'll type it in here in case you can't hear that. Because I didn't answer that second question, but yeah. We will let you know. Okay, perfect. So Thermos, if you go to the CryptoPrevent beta, you can download the white label creator to create new ones that will have those features enabled. If you have ones that are already deployed, when CryptoPrevent goes to full release of version 8, so it leaves beta, then you will have those will get updated to version 8. As far as enabling folder watch and the new protections that come with it, I'm kind of mixed on that. we probably will enable the folder watch on the default settings, but if you're going to want to customize those settings, you would probably want to create a new installer and then either install over top of itself, but I would probably recommend you uninstall and then reinstall with the new version. I'm not sure how installing over top of itself would go, but I'll test that one out actually. So, but we are going to have all of the versions that are out there automatically upgrade to 8. It'll just be I don't think the bulk ones or the Whitelabel, I'm going to enable the folder watch and stuff at the default settings. I may, it depends, just because I don't want to be adding new settings and causing problems for a whole bunch of people. So I'd prefer to just kind of upgrade what it has and then be fine from there. But definitely something to look into, and I'll make more of a decision on that and check more into it. So, unless, do you have an opinion? Should I enable new features that aren't previously available so that'll save you time on those, or would you prefer customizing them and then redeploying it? Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to prevent, is any help calls. So that's why I was thinking to leave the settings as they are, and you can decide if you want to uninstall, reinstall, and get the latest customizable features. But the creator that's up on the beta page, you should be able to configure, create, and make your changes as you want. And it's possible that we may have some other options to make it even easier for you to update those into the future once 8 has come out. Like possibly just throw in the INI in there instead of having to uninstall and reinstall. But I'll play around with it some more. That gives me some good things to test out. So thank you for those. And we'll get back on more answers on that. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid, which is why we're going through such an extensive beta testing period. So if you want to test out the creator and do everything you can to see if you can find any problems with that, that'll definitely help on that side. And I'll check on the updating side and seeing how that's all going to play out and make sure it won't cause any issues so that we can keep any help calls and support calls to a minimum. All right, we got anything else here? Some good questions to start us off here, if I can finish talking.
Oh yeah, that was really good information on D72 and on CryptoPrevent and the upcoming update to that. Yes. Now I guess if there's no others, we can get into some other general stuff. Or
I thought this was super interesting, completely non-tech related. The Lost Boys is coming to TV. So they're gonna have a Lost Boys TV show.
We'll see. We'll see about that. Are they gonna sing? Are they gonna? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's
a reality show.
From one of the people that did iZombie, and I haven't watched that yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about
yeah. If it's from those people, it has a chance. Yeah. I think it might be more comical though, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting. I love that movie, and a lot of people did, so hopefully they won't break it.
Yeah, but they're going to be boys, right? And I would assume are they going to be at the same age group, or are they going to make it like for a high school? Who are they targeting with it?
I mean, they're obviously going to have to go after a completely new cast.
Well, exactly, and where they exactly?
None of those people are going to look immortal from.
I know, but I just
still have Corey Feldman on it though.
Yeah, he does kind of look the same.
I just keep thinking High School Musical.
Well, and he wasn't a vampire in it either.
Like that, basically. Anyway, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Wait, was Corey Feldman the?
He was a vampire hunter. or the
Yeah, he's one of the kids.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
brothers. What were they called? The stupid twins. They're the stupid brothers. Blimey brothers. Something.
Oh Lord, I can't remember.
They had their last name maybe or something.
Was it Frog?
Frog sounds familiar. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so let's look at ADW Cleaner because that one does make it interesting to work with. Essentially, it does kind of like the what's that called?
The other one, Combo Fix, right?
Yeah, where basically those programs kind of shut everything down. And Proctor, sharing my screen. And the way they work is you kind of have to reboot the system to get things back up and running. So let's just take ADW Cleaner here, and we can see it on the screen. Perfect. So we're going to run ADW Cleaner and watch this process go through. So you can see ADW Cleaner tries to close out a bunch of stuff. And then we rescan. I think Arkill also does something similar.
Yeah, so it goes, well, I don't know. It goes into service mode. I think D72 shuts itself down and installs itself as a service just to avoid being killed.
All right, so then when we close it out, D72 is what's restarting the system right there. So if you ever run Combo Fix or ADW Cleaner, and I believe Arkill, you will be expecting a reboot after those. Combo Fix is probably the biggest pain one. ADW Cleaner I thought was fairly smooth, that it should start D72 back up after this reboot. But it sounded like you were saying it was rebooting at startup again. I know Combo Fix does something like that, where it reboots after Combo Fix is run and then waits for Combo Fix to display its log file and generate its log file, and then it reboots again.
Yeah.
Then you can run the uninstaller, which then reboots again after that. So.
Yeah, it always reboots even after Combo Fix reboots, just because when Combo Fix reboots and says it's done, a lot of stuff still don't work. Like networking and some stuff just still don't work sometimes, and so D7 just reboots again because it's cleaner. It allows you to continue auto mode or whatever you're doing without having to go, why ain't this working, and then reboot.
But you can see that D72 is started back up, and that was after Combo Fix. It's still starting up a little bit here. There we go. So that is how that one should be going through. So after you run Combo Fix, it should reboot the system and then relaunch. So that would be a good point in case you mean startup of D72. If you're trying to use the custom apps and session start or D72 startup, you do not want to put those kind of apps in those, because those will basically get you into a reboot loop. So if you did add ADW Cleaner into your D72 startup, it would run that, and then when you close it out, it would reboot your system, and then next time it would run it again, you close it out and reboot your system. So do not use that for these session startups and D72 startups, just in case that's what you're meaning. But I'm going to test out Arkill while we wait for any response on that, because I believe that one does the same. Where do I have it here?
It will, because it installs itself as a service and to keep from being killed by RKill. And then after that, it will restart, perhaps for the same reasons. But I also know that I don't think T72 can launch itself normally under a regular admin account if it's already as a system service and running under the local system account. So it reboots so it can run itself normally. Unless you're already in the system account when you start the service, in which case it should. Yeah.
Michael, was that your butt blimp?
Yes, it was. I just, considering that I had mentioned that, I believe one day, I just wanted to provide an update. They don't have a lot of detail in that. They do have BBC has a video of the actual event that occurred. It didn't really, I don't think, hurt a lot.
I don't see why after the Hindenburg they're still trying to do blimps. Like, it just
Well,
seems like
they remember they're no longer using hydrogen; they're using helium, and
still.
well, I mean, a lot of people
Helium's
believe
flammable,
that well, not at normal temperatures. I mean, you know, sure you could burn anything at any temperature, but you know, the balloon helium. I mean, that's, you know, generally considered to be safe. Would argue though that we should hold on to it because it's a very limited resource on this planet. Although I believe that they've recently found some additional deposits, whether or not they're accessible and economical to get access to is a different matter. But a lot of people believe that we turned away from it a little bit too quickly, and that maybe it's something we should embrace. The same deal with nuclear reactors. A lot of people believe that those couple of bad events that occurred, you know, tarnished the industry in a way that, you know, is hard to recover from.
What is the good of blimps, though? Like,
low transportation costs for planes. They use very little fuel. They stay aloft. Their operational costs are a lot lower, and they can hold a lot more. You know, the only thing is they're generally slower in comparison, but those other advantages usually make them very good for certain transport situations.
and I mean, they've had crashes with hot air balloons, and those haven't gone away.
Well, sure, but I mean, planes crash a whole lot more considering the vast quantity of them that are in the sky currently, but nobody, I mean, they can still consider one of the safest forms of travel. It's about scale, and there's just not enough blimps in comparison to really say.
That's what I'm saying, though. Is with so few blimps, they've had so many problems. Why do people think it's a worthwhile investment at all?
I don't know. I mean, there might be a scaling issue, you know, in other words, that just because you have a smaller number, I don't know. First of all, I'm not a statistician, number one, but the military was interested in this, and like so many ideas that the military gets uninterested in over a little, you know, period of time, it could be either one, just totally stupid and maybe a bad idea, like you suggest, or there is some core feature of it that's incredibly beneficial. And I'm thinking the economy of large-scale transport of goods is where they were going with that.
I don't think it's worth it.
And the loss of life wouldn't be that bad if it's just a cargo thing. Who cares if it went down? But
cargo is worth way more than people at times.
Well, I mean, but it doesn't give the same, you know, you're not going to stop doing it usually because of the cargo.
Plus, do blimps fly above the storm area?
Well, they can, but the problem with the oxygen is
I think they would have to fly around the storm area.
I think they could. They just have to be pressurized, and that would add to some of the cost. They'd have to be completely pressurized like a plane would be so that the passengers could breathe. They wouldn't be able to breathe too high up. I don't know what the height of the storm is. It may be like right on that border, but then you start getting into like the thin air situations, and I'm sure passengers would.
I don't think blimps are worth anything. RKill nor JRT restart. So right now I think it is just combo fix and ADW cleaner that'll restart your system. Was it Rogue Killer maybe that did it?
JRT might.
It doesn't. I just tried it.
Okay. Okay.
Did you guys know that I never heard of this? I mean, I'm not making any statements about this, but there was a
Oh, it
it
doesn't
sounds
work.
like an expensive. I mean, did you guys hear about this? I think it happened in New Mexico, but
Yeah, Rogue Killer was the other one. It looks like because that one did put it into service mode. I think if we just exit that.
now this is technically a nuclear. That link I just posted is technically a nuclear waste accident, so it's not like an active reactor situation. But I didn't hear much about this. Did you hear anything about this? I didn't realize. This
I
is
don't
pretty.
recall hearing anything about it.
And you know, everybody, you know, you mentioned 3 Mile Island, you mentioned the thing in Japan, you mentioned
Chernobyl.
you know, Chernobyl. They, you know, everybody knows those things generally. Um, you know, but this is gonna, well, maybe not next to Chernobyl. As far as Chernobyl's cost is incredible, from what I understand.
They can't even clean up Chernobyl.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a long time before it can be permanently resolved. But this is something they can clean up, but the expense of it is huge, and I don't know. It just kind of caught me off guard. Anyway, I won't say any more about it because I don't know.
So that's strange. The ADW cleaner does it before it runs. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably why it didn't do it for me, is because it didn't find anything. But Rogue Killer is definitely another one on that list that does restart. So that's very strange. And so is it running the second time? Stop screen sharing, Proctor.
Oh, Joe, you talking about the cleanup time? The 150 million years. Whew. Yeah, that's it's a pretty long time. He says no, it does not. I believe that's in response to you, Brantley.
What's before his AWD cleaner? Is it through auto mode or just running manually? Because I'm just like wondering what's before that. It does resume automatically, I hope, though. Or, you know. Right. It's probably the only instance I really worry about it.
Sorry, I'm replying to him in a PM here. So yeah, we could definitely do that, Jay Chamberlain, and that route that I mentioned would be the best way, because I don't want to do it on here. Just because there's too much risk for sensitive data and info leakage. So yeah, if you send a ticket, we'll get it scheduled out and set up and working for that side. Otherwise, this one is kind of technology related, and I was super interested to see how this is going to play out. There's a power egg, and it looks like a super awesome drone. Like the blades and arms and landing gear all fall, like, collapse in together and make an egg. It looks awesome. I'm excited to see how it's gonna play out.
Is that a flying egg, Brantley? Did you just post a flying egg?
It is a flying egg.
Oh man, really?
One of the coolest flying eggs that you've seen.
Does it make eggs? And
It
can I get
doesn't do
over?
anything with eggs. So.
Okay.
Michael,
It
what's an egg?
My pronunciation of what a chicken reproduces with. Anyway, that could be
An
could
egg?
be an alien inside that. You ever watch those movies?
Yeah, that would be cool. The little thing pops out.
Yeah, a flying egg that flies up to you and then the alien pops out. That'd be wild. Oh.
Yeah.
They could use that in the movie, next movie idea, maybe.
Oh man, if you put those little pods on drones, that would be super. That's the thing that makes aliens scarier, I think.
That could be the remake for Aliens. You know how that was big, like military tech. You know, that was kind of like the, war and action combat. Put into that. I could see this in a future movie. But it would also involve implying that the aliens adopted technology, which they don't seem to have done. That's more of a predator type thing, don't you think?
Well, no, it would be humans adopting that technology to make it easier for them to infect enemies with aliens. I'd love to see aliens
as a weapon.
Like they've been wanting to use aliens as weapons for so long. Why not just make a movie where they do?
I know what they actually do, right? I thought about that too, and I really
Alien versus Predator was dumb because they didn't let the aliens get out of that little Antarctica ice temple or whatever.
Yeah. I thought that wasn't quite in line. I kind of thought they were going to do that with the Alien movie that had that klepto girl in it from the 80s. What's her name? I'll figure it out. Alien. Was it Alien Resurrection? I'm thinking.
I don't recall.
Winona Ryder, yes. I still call her Klepto for that time. She got arrested. Haha. Yeah, I kind of thought that they might do something with that, bringing the aliens back as weapons, but they didn't seem to finish that out.
Well, I mean, that's been my understanding, is they've always wanted it to be used for weapons, except for the prequel, Prometheus.
Yeah, that was the link to the one I was referring to. That came out in '97. Yeah, Prometheus. I wouldn't mind a sequel to that eventually.
Yeah, they were just doing it for to find out answers. Why we're here. Well, anyway, I thought this was a pretty interesting link as well. We've seen a lot of things go against the hydraulic press, and this is carbon fiber going against the hydraulic press. It ends up not standing up at all and looking really cool when it collapses. You can see from that GIF right there. Oh, and by the way, Halt and Catch Fire has started its 3rd season. They're off to a great start already, and they even touched on the GIF versus GIF debate of that time.
Really?
Yeah.
Speaking of videos, this one could be interesting. This is an exoskeleton that lets you, they claim, lets you touch the the digital world. And yeah, I know some people out there might be thinking getting some interesting ideas about what they may do with that. But I think this could be wild for like exploration of foreign planets and things like that.
Yeah.
With automated, they send some rovers, they send some robots, they send some other things to another planet, and we get to have sort of that one-on-one experience with it, yet remain safe and keep the costs low.
That tactile feel.
Well, again, I don't know what this is capable of currently delivering. I haven't gotten deeply into it other than that video, but
have y'all seen the base pack? I'm trying to see if I can get it here. it's been on the Amazon whatever that section is where they show like Kickstarter things and up and coming ideas. Launchpad, Amazon Launchpad, and see if I can find that base pack itself, because that thing is crazy. So you don't have to have base thumping throughout your home. You can just wear a backpack and
Base on your back. Base on your back, huh?
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah, I think there could be safety issues with that. I think that there's some. I don't kind of like that idea. But Brentley, being the drone guy that you are, explain to me. Do you think this is right? That according to this guy here, most drone crashes are due to tech issues. I would have thought it would have been operator error, but
yeah, I'd like to see more of the research on that, because I don't really think that's the case either.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, that's just
at least in my situation with my drones. The only time they've crashed has been human error, and I can't just blame Johnny anymore. So I crashed the drone as well this weekend.
You rebuilt the drone?
I didn't end up having. I just ended up having to change the blades out, and it does have an issue. So it will go out 1,000 feet still, but going
Hey everybody,
up,
this is
I can
Sean,
only
and
get
we're
about
here to
600, 650 before it starts losing signal. So I'm thinking some wires or something got misaligned there, and I probably will have to take it apart and figure that out. But
well, but you rejuvenated it.
You're not supposed to go above 400 feet anyways.
You're surprisingly rejuvenated, though. I mean, that's considering what I thought was the damage at the time, more considerable.
I ran at full speed at 35 miles an hour into a foul ball fence.
Yeah, that looked bad. Zombie just joined.
But there was nothing wrong with it. All we had to do was change the propeller and put the battery back in.
Yeah, but the going upward, there's still something. One of those antennas has been.
That was probably when you crashed it.
No, because it was doing that before. But anyway,
is that link that you posted? Is that the backpack you were talking about, or is that something else?
Yeah.
No, Zombie, we'll keep you up to date. I'll stay in just a tad bit longer here. But listen, I wanted to throw this one out here for you. This was the slides from AMD's Zen, preview. I guess because the chips aren't in the hands yet of people, but and there's not any performance numbers or anything in here, but I thought the architectural highlight changes are important because they really do hit on every area that they have been struggling with. It'll be, it still remains to be seen whether or not those do add up to what they're referring to, which appears to be 40% better and would rival the high-end Intel chips that are out now. But it's good to know that they have focused on the issues that have been hurting them. And I'm not, again, trying to take a side or another, but I like the technical details, and that slides make it really easy to look at and absorb. Now, again, it's pretty much AMD marketing material, but they usually don't lie about the architecture design. And with the with the slides they provided, they gave a lot of detail on that.
So in ransomware news, I thought this was interesting. A lot of ransomware is apparently tying in pop culture to their
well, we already know that with Pokemon, right?
Yeah, they had the Pokemon one. They've had a Mr. Robot one. Well, now they have a Purge one from those.
A Purge one. Yep. What else have I found that they have?
Zombie Worm. I can find you a Genius bar if you're looking for one, but otherwise, no, none of us use Macs or like Macs or do anything.
My brother owns them and seems to enjoy them, but I've always thought he was a little bit of a weirdo.
Yeah, the Jigsaw one is probably the scariest of all of those. Jay Chamberlain, I didn't even mention that one, but
but that's not even in popular right now. I mean, there's no movies.
Well, no, the thing about that one though is it actually does what the movie was about. Like Purge doesn't actually go through and purge your files after a while, but Jigsaw
Jigsaw is pretty bad.
actually
Yes.
does go through and start deleting files on a countdown timer like the movie. So not only did they tie in pop culture, they tied in actual.
The good news about Jigsaw, though, as I found, Brantley, is that it can be.
Oh, there is a new
encrypted.
movie.
Oh, there is a new movie. Oh, so maybe that is the tie-in there.
I don't see how, man. There's so many. Like, gosh.
But there's a Jigsaw decryptor out there, folks, and it's actually should be pretty easy to do a very specific software restriction policy to defend against this because of the folder that it places in the file name that it uses for the dropper. There may have been newer variants of this, but at least the ones I was looking at seem to still have that behavior. So while yeah, it's pretty bad in what it does. If you need to decrypt your files, you can do it.
So I thought this was pretty cool. Apparently, the Visa had given out NFC payment rings to Olympic players, but now you can pre-order yours, and they're expected to ship around December. So if you want a Visa-powered NFC payment ring, you can get one from there. That's exciting because that means I'll be able to use my NFC implant that I have for payments in the future a lot sooner than I thought, possibly. That'll be cool. I do have quite a few other links if we wanted to keep going for a little bit here, since Zombie just joined us. This one's pretty cool. Raspberry Pi used for so many awesome things, unlike the Odroid C2. This one is called Warberry Pi, and it's essentially a recon device. So
I was looking into that myself. Neat.
You hook it up to your network, and it goes out and collects statistics, MAC addresses, IP stuff, all kinds of things, and then you unhook it and you can review it later, or you can SSH in and review it. And great penetration testing tool for yourself, or if you're in that line of work, penetration testing.
I just want to mention that I am by no means against Raspberry Pi. I totally love my Pi 2 that I have. I've been debating on getting a Pi 3 because I really don't see the advantage for it. I've been using it for my for what I've been using my Pi 2 for currently. But like for instance, I was looking up this very article Brantley is referring to, and thought that was a cool idea. And I also wanted to go out this to everybody, since my Pi 2 is used as a RetroPie box for emulation. They did come out just a few days ago, I believe, maybe the 19th, with version 4 of RetroPie. They tweaked a lot of things and made it so much easier to add some wireless controllers, Bluetooth controllers, other game controllers. They
there you go, Nick.
Explicit support for the 8-bit do game controller that I've been a big fan of. 8-bit do is a great little company that produces a lot of retro game pads for both wired and wireless of various styles. They, like for instance, their Nintendo ones come in the Famicom versions and the US Nintendo versions, so pick and choose what you like. They have original designs in that they stay kind of true to the original or the original.
Okay, that's enough ones, about.
But then add.
Yeah, crap, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have a wireless adapter for your freaking Nintendo console. That's awesome. Go move on.
They
I also have a $5,000 NES or something like gold plated.
$499, and they actually released.
No, they have a $5,000 one.
The gold plated one is $5,000.
I was ring. There was a $500 one that came out, and it looks like they lowered the price by 50 and made it a little bit smaller and expanded some of the features. So,
but Nick, you can update your Pi, and it should be easier to add Bluetooth controllers to. Is what he was saying.
Yeah. So
Is that what he was saying and all that?
Yes, yeah.
The biggest
Oh.
main point out of all that was that.
RetroPie 4 though would be a great upgrade for anybody out there.
Put the link in there for that.
Oh, sure. I have it opened up currently. So the download link for RetroPie 4 is right here. And
I'm gonna have to break out the sound effects again
highly
today.
recommend it.
So I thought this, we've been talking a lot about government transparency and things like that, and I thought this was an extremely interesting article, and I kind of feel like I'm on against the FBI in this one. So apparently the FBI infiltrated a child pornography website, and instead of shutting it down, they used it to deliver malware to other child pornography consumers. So they ran a child pornography site on the dark web for 2 weeks. And not only did they run it, they actually improved it to where it almost doubled or tripled the amount of traffic that was coming to it. And the argument here from the lawyer in this is that, I mean, that's kind of like entrapment there, is that the government is running a child pornography ring. First off, bad problem.
Yeah.
Should not be distributing child pornography, but
I can't.
they thought it was worth it, and they have gotten 186, I think, people on it so far. But still, it is. As the lawyer said here, I believe it is outrageous conduct. And
Okay, do you want to do? This is directly related to that, but you're saying you find that outrageous, and some people though might consider that to be what they're like that or like what they're doing. But this interesting. So FBI informants apparently have they've been authorized to break the law thousands of times, over 5,600 times in 2013, apparently 22,800 times in total. And if you look at some specific cases, they're even worse than the one that Brantley is talking about. And you know, this is done by informants, though. Keep that in mind. This is what I'm talking about as informants, and that I think is the FBI itself. So, but they're both, you know, I think a little bit interrelated and a little bit questionable about what's going on here. And like,
well, it's so the thing about that is, like, it does have a lot of side effects that causes big problems for other people. I think in that article they even mentioned the Stratford hack, which cost the Stratford company like
this one,
millions of dollars.
There's a link. There's a link. Yeah,
and caused all sorts of problems. And one of their informants was a key contributor to that. And the reason they allowed that to happen was so they could catch the primary person responsible for those things. And it's like, I mean, you basically, like, that's a big hit on a business just so that they can catch someone. And is that really worth the payout? Like,
yeah. What if your business had a foot of $2 million bill, you know, because of something that they did? Yeah, it's questionable. It really is, and I think it needs to be reviewed.
So a great movie on why that informant stuff is bad is Black Mass. It's a recent Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah. I have yet to see that.
That one pretty much shows you exactly how terrible of an idea allowing informants to be criminals is, because essentially he used his position as an informant to take out all of his competition and continue operating as normal.
Yeah, so you continue breaking the law, and you know, and then it's questionable what benefit, you know, that you're providing to law enforcement, and how much you're truly, since you're just replacing those other guys, are you doing a net gain or benefit from any of it? And so, Brian, what do you think about this one? You haven't talked about this yet, have you? Did I miss this one with the Baltimore planes doing surveillance?
It amazes me you've missed anything other than what anyone else has said.
I think we had talked about
taking amphetamines before the show.
No.
We did let him go to lunch before the show.
For all of 20 minutes?
Yeah, that's a
So,
lot of
thanks again.
amphetamines if you're doing that all.
That's a big lunch.
That explains a lot. Yeah, it's crazy that they're doing surveillance and stuff like that.
No, but for as long as they've been doing that, you know?
Yeah, it is
Wild,
crazy.
wild.
So there's also another forum hacked. 800,000 accounts leaked in this one, the Epic Games forum. So if you're in that one, definitely change your password. But that's just adding to the passwords list of people out there. So definitely, if you're using it, don't use the same password amongst various sites, especially junk sites like that, unless you're only using that for junk passwords. But even still.
Yeah, I don't. Whoa. You sure the passwords were leaked for that one? I thought that was just email addresses on that one and other forum information, but actually not the passwords.
Maybe.
But yeah, but
I've
if it
just gotten
was
here,
passwords,
the passwords are getting leaked now. So
if it was the passwords hashed or otherwise, then absolutely, and always, keep track of which forums you're a member of. Then when you see these things, take action. Don't wait. The longer you wait, the higher at risk you are. I thought this one was interesting. Who do you think NASA outsourced their computer upgrades so we can get all modern computing equipment in NASA? Who do you think they outsourced that to?
China.
China? No. HP. It looks like HP Enterprise Services. And guess how that went? Can you imagine? You might want to read that.
Why don't you tell us?
Okay, I'll summarize. So it looks like
I would
they
imagine
wanted to modernize
just like
NASA's
an HP computer would be.
Well, they wanted to modernize NASA's stuff, and they were talking. One of the big deals is for them to have a secure computing environment. And according to NASA's chief information officer, quote, could no longer accept the security risks associated with the contract that they signed with HP. So he didn't sign off on it or give it authority to move forward. But NASA says that they, quote, continue to work with them to remediate it. Sisters owners must accomplish this remediation in a certain period of time, specified period of time, rather. For those vulnerabilities that cannot fully be remediated in the established time, a plan of action and milestones. Approved and tracked. I mean, that's also a bad start. It makes you wonder why they, continue with it. And obviously, their contract could adapt, but apparently, HP's first offering up to them is pretty poor. And I don't know how much has been paid to them just yet, but of that contract. But I don't know. The very fact that it's all based upon security, and that they failed on all their measures, NASA's measures, pretty significant, I thought.
All right. Well, one last link, and then we will have to wrap it up so we can get some work done here. This one is kind of more of a public service announcement. So apparently, this person posted on Twitter a tweet saying, "I need to move out of this place before I viciously murder my roommates." And sure enough, next day, that person is arrested and murdered his roommate. So if you're not following your roommate on Twitter, it is highly recommended that you keep up to date with their statuses and take things like that into
account. Is this a Twitter advertisement or what? Or is public service announcement? Yeah. Wow.
Well, it's saying basically if you're friends with someone in a roommate fashion, you should probably follow them on.
I have to be on Facebook and Twitter just because my friends and or family are. I mean, that's.
If they're your roommate,
well, if you have a roommate, then I recommend you do it because they might want to be killing you.
Yeah, that's true.
Reaching out, I'm sure they would. And then be reaching out for some help there.
If anyone is in your life that has the possibility to kill you, you probably want to be following them on social media, whichever ones they choose. So I think that should wrap us up for today. Thank you, Thermos and Jay Chamberlain. Like I said, we'll work with you on that other stuff in a ticket. It'll be much better for us to go that route. And then Thermos, thanks for looking into the CryptoPrevent beta white label creator and let us know if you have any issues with that. and I'll check more into the update side of it. Also, we'll look more into the auto login for D72 and domain passwords and Microsoft stuff, and see if we can get a good demo for that, possibly for tomorrow or the day after. So thanks everyone for watching and joining us. It's always a pleasure to have everyone here and interacting with us, and we appreciate focusing on our software as well. So definitely always feel free to interrupt our babbling or rants in Michael's case. With that, and otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. and hope everyone has a great rest of their week. Take us on out, Proctor.
All right.
Bye. Bye.